Hey, welcome to part 2 of learning vRealize Orchestrator series that I'm currently doing. Now in this part I'm not going to be showing any demos or screenshots or how-tos. This is purely me talking to you, but what we're going to cover is 4 basic things that need to get you started. Now the first thing you need to answer yourself, and I've done it myself when I was trying to learn originally, was you sit in front of the almighty schema of VRO and you're like, what am I going to do? What are you going to do? And that's exactly what you need to answer, is what is your workflow going to do? So learning VRO, you really need a task to learn VRO at the end of the day. It is the easiest way to learn it, and it's not really hello world type scenarios won't really cut it. You really need to have a task in hand and you need to work through that to completion to really understand the inner workings of VRO. So the first step is, what is it going to do? You know, maybe this workflow is going to resize a VMDK on a virtual machine. Cool. Or maybe this workflow is going to create a VIP on an F5. Great. You know, set yourself a goal. That's what you're going to do. Obviously, if it helps you do your day-to-day job easier, then do something that you'd usually do in your job. Now, the second thing is you need to look at, what are your data sources? Where do you need to get the data from for this workflow to run properly? So this could be, for that example, for sizing a disk, it could be you need to get data from vCenter, you need to get data from the guest OS machine, you need to maybe get the username and password from a password safe like Secret Server, etc. So, you know, you go through everything that you need, all the details, and where you're going to get those from. Which sources are you going to source that information from? Once you've written that down, great. You've got it, you know exactly what you need to do. Now, the second one is, how is your workflow going to be executed? Because this really plays a really big part in creating it. Is it going to be user interactive? Is it going to be called by an API? You know, that's really differs how it's going to be used, and the inputs that are going to be used as well. So, you know, it could be, is the workflow being executed by your ticketing system? Then you go, okay, well, I don't need to have a flashy UI or make the presentation really nice, for example. And you might just have one input that's a, you know, common delimited string. Who knows? So, you know, it really changes the way your workflow is going to be initiated, and then the data that's going into it. And then 4 is step through the manual tasks. So what are the manual tasks needed to do the job that you are setting out to do? So for example, you might target 0.5 version of your workflow, and it connects to vCenter, finds a VM, and resizes a selected VMDK. You know, great. Might go for version 1. Might go, okay, well, we got to connect to vCenter, we got to find the VM, we got to check the OS drive for the ID, match that to the VMDK, and then resize. And then you might go, okay, well, version 1.1, we're going to do the same things, connect to vCenter, find the VM, check the OS drive for ID, match it to the VMDK, resize, and then expand the disk in the OS so that it's usable. So these are all things that you write down, draw out a rough diagram of of the steps that you want. They don't have to have any detail. And then when you got that in front of you, dive into VRO. Start, you know, you just take it one step at a time, and hopefully, the end, you've got something that's workable. And trust me, no matter what workflow that you create, in 2 months' time, when you go back and look at it, you go, oh, that's the most disgusting thing I've ever created. Why did I do it this way? I could have done it this way. It would have been so much easier. But that's the nature of automation. You do it one way, and then, you know, down the track, it's not the right way anymore. But, you know, you learn, and that's all this is, a big learning experience. So until next time, take care. Cheers, mate.